Hello, and welcome to Thinking Outside the Pod, episode 66.
66? Oh my
Oh,
God,
man.
we need a third six, and then
Yeah.
we have some trouble there.
Yeah, just 600 more episodes, and we'll be in trouble.
All right.
All right, so be on the lookout for that. It's coming in. I can't do
Oh,
I can't
a
do that
long
math.
time, several years from now.
Divide that by 12, I guess, and then I don't know, or no, divide that by 52.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
do
math,
that, and
math
then
from
do.
All right, here, I'll give you an easy math one. 66, 2 times 33.
There we go.
Like, oh no, we're not adding multiplication. Oh no.
You guys are learning. We're teaching. We're your teachers.
Uh-oh.
Pay us money.
We're nerds.
Yep, that's what we do.
I know, yeah, now you owe us money. That's one entire college class right there.
Exactly.
In 2 seconds. Done.
Pretty much.
I
yeah.
know multiplication.
The American college system. Yep, that's about one class.
Yep.
$2 million. Yep.
Sweet. Just send
yeah.
it to me.
Yep. So episode 66. I guess if you're watching the video, you see something different.
I know.
We're experimenting, but it's
I
work.
guess experimenting. I mean, I've had this lavalier mic for a while, and we figured, why the hell not? Let's just bring it out and see how well it works. So, I mean, we've used it for another thing we did a while back, but it's just been sitting in my bag that I towed around for a while. It's like, why not? Plus, I was feeling lazy. I didn't want to hold the stupid mic the entire time.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, let's give it a shot.
It is a lot of hard work. But I know.
I thought of it. I was like, well, I have this mic just sitting around, and it's like, all right, let's test it out. I mean, this is probably a really good time to test it.
Yeah, why not?
So, like, why not?
And
plus, I spent money on it, so it's like, might as well actually use it because I use the other two all the time, and this is the only one that I don't use. So it's like, well, let's bring it out and let's take a look.
Yeah, it's so far we're getting audio on the thing. So,
I know. Hey, there's a good sign. So it's turning on.
So it's doing its job.
Yay.
But yeah, I mean, most podcasts that do like video podcasts, they don't hold mics.
Well, they've got like the fancy the recording mic, but they have more of a permanent fixture.
Yeah, we're rogue. We're guerrilla podcasting.
Yeah, we're at any chance we may get kicked out of our spot, so then we have to.
Yeah, we can't
go to another spot.
We can't do anything permanent.
So I mean.
But whatever, that's fine.
We'll see what happens.
We're like I said, we're a guerrilla podcast. We get pay us in bananas.
Sweet.
Sweet bananas. But yeah, so a few things happened over. Not too many huge things, but some interesting things. I know we kind of tend towards like the nerd and the movie thing, but I'm trying to branch out to make it not so much like that. But I mean, it's not bad.
I mean, unfortunately, that's just who we are. I mean,
there's gonna be some nerd stuff
there always
later on.
Will be nerd stuff.
But
period.
I want to inject some outer world stuff into here.
Outer nerd world, I guess.
Yeah.
Not even outer world, because that'd be space. But
Yep. So there's a big debate happening on Mars right now. It's ridiculous.
the Martians versus the I guess Plutonians.
Are rovers humans? Obviously no, but some people are having
I don't
arguments
know.
against.
If I got stuck up on Mars just going around for years and years, I'd be kind of pissed off.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's pretty funny, like how sad it is. I mean, doesn't have feelings or anything, but like that rover, like on its like birthday or like anniversary, or no, I guess it was birthday. It sung "Happy Birthday" to itself. So it's like the loneliest thing ever,
really?
the saddest thing. Like they programmed it
to
to play "Happy Birthday" to itself.
Can you imagine all of a sudden that's what started? Like they were like Martians are on there and they heard that song and like war.
Like that becomes its battle cry.
Yeah.
It's just, they just make it more menacing. They like. That's like oh no, get in the shelters,
Oh, that'd be crazy.
But we did it. It's our fault. Yep.
We taught them happy music and they killed us for it.
We sent it to a lonely planet to die.
That's sad. That sounds really sad. I mean, yeah, it is a robot, but still.
Yeah, we always tried, as humans, we inject humanity onto things.
Well,
it's essentially a toaster.
Well, I mean, it's a smart toaster.
I know, but yeah, no, it is kind of like if you got a video of it, it's just like do like just all like. But yeah, I assume it's real. I read it online. I mean,
it's plausible.
Yeah,
I could totally see some scientists doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's totally not a.
I guess it's not like it doesn't use any imaginary science. It's just sending a file or just play a file.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of programmers, they'll probably put like little, just random nods to something, or they'll put some stupid function where if you type some magic password, it freaks out the program or something like that. Or
little Easter eggs. You always like game programmers always have like a secret room that has like the even like in like Atari games, like there's one screen that has like the programmer's name on it, and it's just like, oh, you found it.
Yeah,
good job.
I mean, it's always you have to do something really weird that doesn't make any sense. But I mean,
like click A while you're facing this truck for a lot of times, and you will find Mewtwo or something.
Sure, something weird like that. Yeah.
I think that was a hoax on a Pokemon game.
Oh, there's a lot of It's like how to get Mew. There's a lot of different fake ways, and then there was only like 1 or 2 real ways, which was you had to trick the code and stuff like that. We're not going to go into that.
Yeah, okay.
That could be a long conversation there.
We started out okay, and then we veered back into nerd.
I know, we totally, I think, went off topic from originally where we were going.
I don't know if I'll find a segue. North Korea. There's some news out of
North Korea.
Speaking of desolate places. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Geez. I'm sorry.
That's only slightly racist, Jimmy.
But North Korea, news out of North Korea, they're always... I don't know what's up with them, but they're trying to make North Korea like a popular tourist destination. And it's just like an oxymoron just saying that.
I know when you told me that, I was like, really? I could totally see it happening, and it would make sense, that they would want to do that. They definitely want they want to be, we're not the assholes that you think we are. But what sucks though is if you go, you're going to go to some blocked off part of the country, and it's going to be all
happy,
Disneyland-esque and happy, but then like
what's beyond that wall? Nothing's behind that wall.
No, and you go in and it's just
like starving
people sad and stuff like that. Or I don't know. I mean, I've never been to North Korea, so it's kind of when you think about it, I've never been to North Korea.
Yeah, we don't know.
So really, I'm not saying conspiracy or anything, but we don't know. I mean, to be honest, it may not be as bad as we make it out. I mean, I'm not saying that it isn't. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't.
Who knows?
With governments and politics and all that kind of stuff, you never know who really to agree with or who to really believe, because it's all propaganda.
Yeah.
Like everything has some ulterior motive, or it's covering up something. Maybe not something huge. Scandalous or anything, but they're not going to always tell the whole truth on everything. But just hearing that North Korea tourist destination, they're planning and building all these attractions, like a huge water park and stuff, and one of the attractions that it said on the article was like a live pheasant shooting thing.
Yeah.
So actually shoot and kill an actual animal, then they cook it for you. Which is kind of weird, but I guess that's not too weird.
I've heard of that stuff before, and I don't approve of that type of hunting. Where it's like, we captured an animal and then we lay it out just for you specifically to shoot. You're like, no.
Yeah.
If you're gonna hunt, go out in the friggin' wild and do that. And I'm fine with hunting as long as you do something. You eat the animal, or you process it and all that good stuff. Because if you just go just to shoot animals, you're like, no, definitely, I do not approve of that.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree. Well, yeah, definitely. There's that's just cruel and for no reason.
Sure.
Like as long as you eat the animal or use that in some way, then I'm fine with it too. I'm not really against hunting. Again, I'm against like poaching and all that kind of illegal stuff, but as long as it's legal, you have a license that, it's fine.
There's a procedure for that, sure, as long as you do necessary laws and stuff. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because I mean, one thing that people that are like strictly against hunting don't really take it into account. Hunting's not bad. I mean, sometimes it's good for the environment. Overhunting, of course, is bad, but a lot of the animals that we hunt for, and it's like certain seasons, it's because there's too much of that animal.
See, it's one of, the funny thing, I've always kind of thought of this, when you think of it, the world existed just fine without its hunting stuff before.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think it's kind of weird, I think if we would have just left it alone, the world would still be fine, to be quite honest. It'll change, for sure. I mean, if there's a million of one type of animal, they may wipe out another animal, but then something else will come in its place. I mean, that's... the world existed before humans existed, and it was just fine, So, I mean, it's like, when you think of it, I think the excuse of just hunting for overpopulation is kind of, I don't think that's...
Well, I think we kind of impose our ideals on that. Yeah. Like, we think it's overpopulation because for some, like, they're encroaching on our stuff, and we're like, okay, there's too many of y'all. But whenever we didn't have stuff, or we didn't have parking lots or whatever we think populations are encroaching on, then it wasn't a problem, of course. But now, because we are imposing our ideals on the natural world, that's when it kind of we put those terms overpopulation, or it's actually hurting the hurting the thing.
To be quite blunt, when you look at it, probably one of the most overpopulated things on the earth is us. There ain't nothing stopping us. And you sit there and talk about, you go, there's too many wild dogs or something like that. It's like no. There's too many humans. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, I'm not saying kill humans, but still.
Are you on the wild dog party? I knew it.
It's just, I think that whole, hunting for overpopulation stuff, I think is, a little hypocritical, because it's like, well, we don't control the human population at all. It's like, we're just.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to impose that.
Like I said, I'm not against hunting. Definitely. I personally won't ever go hunting. I don't have any desire to go shoot an animal.
I don't actively go for it, but my dad is a big hunter. Sure. He grew up that way. Like his father and grandfather go hunting and stuff. So whenever he wants to go, I go. Sure. And I mean, it's pretty interesting. I went with we went hunting with a crossbow.
Okay.
And I mean, crossbows are cool. So
definitely.
So when deer hunting, and he has like a lease, and we have a feeder up there, and we have like a camera, and we see all these deer come in and stuff like that, and we go out in the morning, and it's not the funnest, I could be playing a video game or watching a movie or sleeping at that time, but it is interesting, and I mean there is skill involved, and it's something that you can build on and have good stories and memories of. So I don't mind it. I don't think I'm a hunter by nature. I think it's just a thing to do with my family.
Yeah.
But I think that's a lot of people are like that, because I mean unless it's like your way to survive, it's really just like a hobby for most people.
I mean, but like I said, even if it is a hobby, as long as you're, processing or you're, you don't have to shoot it and then just leave the deer carcass and then just walk away. That's definitely not cool. You gotta process it and I don't know, take the remains to wherever, as long as you take care of it, you're like, that's fine.
I agree, and I see the point of people that don't like hunting because they think it's cool or whatnot, but it can be, but it's
but still, I mean, I hate to say it, I mean, we still eat stuff. I mean, unfortunately that's what we eat.
It's the way we've kind of made.
I mean, if you want to eat vegetables and just eat vegetables and fruit only, fine, that's your choice. But unfortunately, a lot of us like to eat meat. I mean, sorry, kill them some way.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about the science on all that, but I assume humans weren't. I don't know. I don't know. I can't.
They always say we kind of really weren't meant to eat meat, but we just kind of did, and then it just kind of became part of our diet. And
we just yell at our body, adapt.
I mean, pretty much.
Eat this meat.
I guess we evolved to eat meat, I guess, or something like that. Or that's what I've heard.
I mean, we don't have like sharp teeth that most like carnivores have. We have like nubby or plant eating teeth, I think, right?
Something like that. I mean,
I don't know. Or we kind of have both. We have like the sharper and then
but not like you look at a carnivore's teeth, and they're definitely a lot more jagged than ours are. I mean, ours are. I mean, there's.
Yeah,
it's possible rather than not it's true. I don't know.
I don't know either. But where
the hell were we? We
were North Korea. North Korea.
We tend to talk about North Korea a lot, don't we?
Yeah,
I guess it is such a wacky country.
It is. It's kind of like our not top pod's enemy, but like the one country that's kind of just like, what are you doing, guys? Like, stop being so weird, and I don't know.
We look at it and you're like, a lot of Asian countries, their culture is weird, but it's just difference in cultures. And, it's
like I think it's because they're so private, and we're just like, let us. We want to know what you all are doing.
What I think what makes I guess that point right there is kind of I think what makes North Korea interesting is that they are so private, and then just all of a sudden randomly it's just like random wacky thing, and you're like
tourism.
Whoa, yeah, you're like, wait a second,
we're gonna hack you, maybe.
You want nobody to see You want nobody to see what's going on in your country, and all of a sudden now you're like, tourists, tourism, yay. Like, no, why?
Yeah, it's weird. Oh, and you just exploded some missiles over China or something ridiculous.
Yeah, something silly. And you're like, wait a second, I'm confused. Are we supposed to be afraid of you, or are we supposed to like you? It's like, wait, make up your mind,
Yeah, so I think that's the biggest. And I mean, no other country. I know there's like some countries that like terrorism and stuff like that is around, and we don't like them. But I think it's weirder for North Korea just because of that privacy thing and because of the wackiness of like what happens like with them every once in a while.
Sure.
But yeah, so that was kind of our world culture segment. I don't know.
I guess educated you. Maybe?
You're welcome again. Sure. Next big thing, technology. Apple has internet somehow found a bug on Apple's iOS that if you send a message with a certain string of characters, it'll crash that person's phone.
So did it have to be a specific, or was it just specific type of characters?
All the pictures I've seen of the message, it was like, it says like effective power, then it has like a line, a space, and then it had like Arabic letters and like Chinese letters or something like that. Wow. Like, and it looked all the same, like each of the messages, and then it said something else, and then it sent like has that message, and then it's like, did your phone just turn off? And it's like, you jerk, and things like that. So I don't know if it has to be those exact things or something similar.
I mean, because a possible thing that it could be doing is it's confusing the maybe Arabic or whatever language the different characters are, and since there may not be, since it's English, it may not have an actual alphabet, number or whatever. So it'll just pick something, and it just may magically write out the code to shut down your phone. I mean, that's a possible thing. I mean, who knows? I mean, that's interesting. That's an interesting bug.
I've always found it interesting because I don't know how it came about. Like, because I know at first on the article I said it was first noticed on Reddit.
Yeah.
Of people doing it.
Of course, Reddit. I mean,
Reddit or
and 4chan are like the two places that find all this weird crap.
I'm like, how did people find things like that? Unless it was like some memo like that leaked or something that Apple was like, hey, we found this bug in a certain string of characters, specifically this or something like this would cause a crash. We need to implement a patch or something or something like that, or the next upgrade, fix it or something. And then we found that and then just got it out before that happened.
Yeah.
Because how else? I mean, I guess like inspecting code. I don't know how that works. I mean, like, hey, there's this one.
There's only so much you can do with troubleshooting because like a random thing like that, it's like,
Yeah.
That's one of those of, if you say, oh, there's, it's Apple, they're supposed to be perfect. It's like, think of it. How would you guess a very specific string of characters to cause an error like that? Yeah. You're like, what are you going to do? There's infinite amount of possibilities of stuff randomly happening. It's like you can't check all of them. You just have to kind of go with the major ones, and then you try to think of some of the funky ones, and you go with that, and then you just kind of, as errors pop up, you just fix them. You go, okay, well, unfortunately, you totally didn't see that, random Arabic and Chinese characters crash an English phone,
I've seen, like, videos of, like, video games, like Mario and things like that, where people do, like, this specific number of tasks and causes a glitch for them to beat the game in, like, a record amount of time.
Perfect example, Missing Note from Pokemon.
Because
what it is it has to deal with hexadecimal code. Like I don't understand exactly how it does it, but it's the way the computer does is it'll store a number, and then if you do another
something
task,
else.
it'll change how it's done because you did this specific task. Or because sometimes, like with some of the Pokemon glitches, it's something with like glitching out the trainers and stuff like that. So if you go to like a specific trainer that can see you off screen, you have like a split second to pause it and like run away. And so it activates that battle, but you can still move around. And so then now it changes how the world operates, because it's like, well, the game still thinks you're in the battle.
Oh, you're in a battle, but you're actually out.
So then it changes how all the code works. So I mean, it's weird. There's a lot of really weird.
Like, things. How do you know by chance like how people find that? Like, is it because they're going through the code and like seeing like this certain task, if it's done at this certain point, adds that number to something, or is it?
I don't know. I mean,
that's so cool.
I think that could be a possibility. Is that they hack the cartridge, and then they look at the code. But like I said, it has to deal with like some of the older games were like the hexadecimal stuff. So I mean, there's, if you could figure out, I guess, whatever code number for each event or whatever, I think that's how they kind of.
Oh, I see.
So they said, okay, well, this, under condition, 9991. I don't know. I'm not too familiar. I haven't learned hexadecimal code, so I don't know. But like 9991 does one thing, but 9992 does something else, and so somehow they alter the code where it's supposed to go 9991 instead it does 9992
because they did something.
Because they did something weird that just magically changed it. Because I mean, there's all sorts of examples of that. Because like Legend of the Ocarina of Time. I mean, there's ways if you do very specific things. Like you could backflip out of the first boss or whatever, then go to like straight to the end of the game or something like that. I mean, there's really weird little ways to trick it.
Yeah, that's so cool. I know because I understand like just searching, like Skyrim or something, like going everywhere and like going like around like certain like things and like that. But actually finding like ways to glitch out the game, that's so cool to me. Sure. I know it's probably like obsessive compulsive disorder at some people that like just want to know everything about this game and do that, like hack the cartridge and find the codes and try to find some cool error that they can exploit. I think that's cool.
Well, 'cause, I mean, you look at back in the old day. I mean, they just simply didn't have a lot of space. I mean, you look at how big some of like Pokemon's only like I think like a couple, maybe not even at like a kilobyte. I mean, it's just a couple,
crazy.
Maybe a megabyte or something.
So they had to do some types of shortcuts and things in their programming with their.
Well, something like if you look at Mario, like I think like if you look at like how it's stored, or whatever, it's like literally like all on top of each other. I mean, like the entire game is like just like one big giant ladder or something like that. It's funky. I don't remember exactly. Like some of the games are like really weird. Like, and there's ways like I guess if I remember right, there's ways that you can glitch it to where like if you fall off, it'll go down to like a completely different level or something like that.
That's cool.
So I mean, it's strange. Like if you look it up, all that stuff, all those weird glitches are very interesting. I mean, I don't know enough about the coding to explain exactly why it happens, but it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure there's things like resources online about how people find things like that, like how this certain whatever the Smith glitch or whatever, like whoever found it, how they found it and things like that. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, because definitely for some of the glitches, I think they had an idea of what they were doing. I think they went through and kind of looked at the code and said, okay, well this will do this, this will do this. Okay, this. This thing will activate this number, and then they figured out how to put it all together. Because some of the things are extremely random and stuff where I'm like, no, actually, why would a human think to press pause at this time and then fly away and then like, do other stuff?
The one that I saw that kind of reminded me of when we were talking about the other thing was the person had to do like 40 different things specifically at the right time, like on Mario. They'd like go up to this enemy but not kill it, turn around, jump over this thing. They had to really quickly kill this enemy, and like it was just a really long thing, and he kept trying to beat the record time to beat the game, and he finally did it, and using that glitch, and I was just like, there's no way someone could actually just randomly do that, because it's like nonsensical stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, definitely. That's like why I said I think
it's someone that knows code.
They somehow figured out the code, and then they're like, oh, okay, if you string together these seemingly random things, it'll screws up the code and just warps you to the very end of the game or something.
Yeah, so that's cool. I need to read up on that because I think that's interesting. I know nothing really about code, but I'm sure there's some pretty cool resources out there about that stuff. So I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, the Apple bug, it's obviously gonna get fixed.
I've already been fixed. I mean, now that
I know there's workarounds because I mean all it does is it restarts your phone, and every time that message pops up, it will crash your phone. But you just have to work around, just delete that message.
Well, because how long ago did you see it, out of curiosity?
I think
recently?
it last Tuesday is when it came about, okay. So I'm sure it's by now.
So by now they probably either have, or they definitely have looked into it.
They have fixes. Now. They have fixes online. There's every article I went to had some fix, like sending a picture to that contact allows you to open up the history to delete that message history.
Okay.
And that fixes it. But if they send it to you again, it'll happen again. But I'm sure they'll fix it. It's like you said, some maybe like because it's a like different language script that they just need to upgrade or something.
I mean, maybe it's just it doesn't recognize it and just randomly does stuff. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, the technology is weird and programming is.
I think it's probably like you said, it was very specific things. I think it maybe somehow is accessing some sort of Apple code or something like that. And then, like I said, the characters are just randomly being changed. This on the English character, it just magically resets your phone.
Yeah, so
who knows?
So that's pretty interesting. I like to see when Apple things go bad. I don't actively hate them, but I think it's funny to see like the iPhone bending or the little funny mistakes that a huge corporation does. I think that's funny.
But still,
it happens with everything.
Everybody always thinks that Apples are so much better than PCs. Like, not really. I mean, they're the same thing, just slightly different operating system. I mean, it's a brand.
Yeah. Exactly. Next thing, real quick, and then we'll get to some more things in like more stuff in my wheelhouse. But Facebook, they've added GIF. Support on the newsfeed. So
for those of you who don't know what a GIF is, like if you ever see like the moving animation, it's like maybe like 3 or 4 frames or something real basic on like websites and stuff. That's a GIF. I mean, it's a file type where it's just a couple of frames of animation and it just goes back and forth.
It just loops. So I mean, it's become. I mean, even if you're not much into computers and stuff, you've seen a GIF. I mean, it's like the standard for little short animations online.
Sure.
So they've never had that really on Facebook because they've always said it would make it too chaotic. Because especially like if you have it on the autoplay feature, where just as soon as it comes on screen, it starts playing.
Sure.
Which I can see that. I mean, you like MySpace comes to mind whenever I think of chaotic things, like people's pages where they go crazy on customizing it.
Well, I think if you do it that way, it's the way you do the layout then it comes into play. Because if you're showing multiple feeds and they all have GIFs in it, it's going to get a little nuts, But
so prepare to see like dancing bananas and things like that. All the standard GIFs and all the
Nyan cat.
Yeah.
Pop-Tart cat.
And it's no audio, no audio on GIFs,
Good.
right? So or is there? I've never seen it. I don't think so either.
I think that might be. Can you set it up to play with the GIF? Yes. Is it on the GIF itself? I do not believe so.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that either.
I think you'd code it into the website itself. I believe.
Yeah, like for the.
Because that drives me nuts. If you ever make a website, don't make music that plays on its own. That's annoying. Because then when you load the website, immediately I'm closing it. Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and search for where the hell the music's coming from.
Yeah, I know Chrome does a thing where if there's music coming from that particular tab or audio coming from that particular tab, it has like a little speaker icon.
Okay.
But so that's pretty good. Like if you have like multiple tabs and then for some reason some ad starts playing audio, you can find it real quick and just either stop that ad
or close
the tab.
I don't, because I hate when websites just have music that just, it's like music that sometimes you can't stop because it actually goes through the website. And you're like, oh, that's annoying.
I remember like doing that for like basic HTML coding. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, awesome. It'll play System of a Down it's like, no, that's really annoying. Come on, people.
I did it once to test it. Yeah, like when I was learning HTML, just to see how it works. And I'm like, I definitely don't like that. That's not a very user-friendly thing.
Yeah, no, it's jarring at points.
Sure, because when you load a link and the next thing you know, after the page loads, it just randomly starts music. And you're like, whoa, where the hell's the music coming from?
For some reason, if you had like your volume all the way up, it'll just freak you out, or it might blow speakers or something. Like if you had like that high, like if you were listening to something crazy before.
If you got them that high though, it's like, what the hell are you doing? If you
I like the party. I don't know.
Who knows?
I keep my speakers at 100%.
Neighbors are pissed.
Is that blinking?
Oh, are we running that video already?
We're going on like 29 minutes. Maybe it's like a warning.
I don't know.
That's fine.
Whatever. We'll just
but yeah, so that's cool. I mean, that's a new functionality. I know at one point I wanted to put a GIF on my Facebook newsfeed, and I read and I'm like, oh, you can't do that. So it's like, I guess if something like that ever comes up again, that'd be cool to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about Facebook changes? Like they've always gone through their little profile or their layout changes and stuff like that, and it always gets some sort of backlash.
Change is always going to get backlash. Yeah. So I mean, period. So I'm indifferent. I don't really use Facebook that much. I mean, the last time I've touched Facebook, I've periodically go on and I'll look at other people's stuff, but I don't use Facebook. It's like, why? What am I going to do on it?
It's ultimately a time waster for me. Like I just like whenever I'm bored and I'm not doing anything, I just scroll through the feed and see, oh, that person's doing that. Oh, that's happening. Okay, that's cool. So layouts really don't really matter to me as long as it's not like way different, like where they actually like take out something that I used to use. Sure. And I'm just like, oh, that's kind of annoying, but what can you do? It's they changed it for some reason. I'm sure it's an okay reason.
I hope. You never know though.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So that's that. So that's kind of like the tech and world news. But back to kind of like my stuff in my wheelhouse, like movies and entertainment news. What did you think? There's some news about the Tron movie. What did you think about the recent Tron Legacy?
I thought it wasn't too bad. I mean, I didn't think it was anything spectacular, but I was entertained.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I enjoyed it. It was cool looking.
I liked the music that was in it.
Yeah.
I thought the music was really good.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was like it was like who did it? Was
Linkin
Daft
Park? It was Daft Punk. You're right.
I think it was Daft Punk.
I was like 50-50 on those two guys.
But
I think it was Daft Punk.
But so I enjoyed it. I don't think it did well, like critically or in the box office, but I don't think it did bad. But
I mean, like I said, was it a horrible movie? No. Was it an excellent movie? No. It was definitely,
it was one of those.
It was entertaining. Yeah. It was, it was nothing super great about it, but nothing super bad about it either.
I saw it in theaters, and then I got it on DVD, or it must have been. I don't really buy Blu-rays that much, but bought it on DVD as well. I'm not a quality. I as long as it's not blurry, I'm fine with it. But and some could say that DVD is not the sharpest thing. It isn't the sharpest thing, obviously.
It depends. I mean,
yeah. But yeah, so I enjoyed it, and there was talks about a new Tron 3 coming out. And I was okay with it.
Why? I guess. I mean, do we need a new Tron? Did
no,
we even need a second Tron?
We didn't even need a second one.
Yeah, it's like, why do we need a second Tron? I mean, the first one wasn't that good.
I only saw the first one like once and like one and a half times at the most.
I can't remember if I've seen the whole thing, but I definitely remember reading up on it and everybody was saying, it wasn't that good.
Yeah, and I don't know.
It's an interesting idea.
I think the idea was so good that people were just like, it should be good. Why isn't this as good? And I like the visual stuff on it, and like the visual design and production design of Tron Legacy is really amazing to look at and stuff like that. So I was okay with there being a Tron 3. Looks like it's not going to happen unless something else changes. But
who knows?
So you always hear of projects being shelved, and I don't know.
It's supposed to be Disney. Yeah, Disney did the first. Did they do the second one also?
I think
I know for sure they did the first one.
I'm pretty sure they did. I'm sure maybe they weren't. Maybe they weren't the main ones, but I'm sure they had a hand in it. And
when I think of it, they
controlled the strings.
They probably did, because I mean, like. Because with, I don't know, because I guess Kingdom Hearts, because they had a Tron level in the second one, and I guess that was based off of the first one. I don't think it was based off of the second movie.
Most likely not, yeah.
Or at least at that time. I don't know if the more recent ones that had Tron levels, I don't know if those were based off of the second movie or not. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe, probably. Yeah. Probably they probably still at least own the license, whether or not they made the movie. I don't know.
I'm not sure either, but that's kind of against other movie like remakes and reboots and sequels and stuff. I wouldn't mind a Tron one, like instead of like what are they coming out with that's like sequels and stuff. Like
Jurassic World is coming out.
I didn't need another Sin City. Like,
see, I still haven't seen the second one. I saw the first one. I was entertained. I think I was more entertained by the style.
Oh yeah, that's me too.
I thought it was really cool.
The style on Sin City is amazing. They just didn't add to it much. It was the same style, and the stories weren't not like there was a couple good stories because it's about like intertwining stories in the city.
Yeah.
A couple of the stories are really good. A couple of them were kind of dumb, and it was just like that's kind of dumb. I didn't need that, but I think if I had to choose between Sin City and Tron, I would have maybe picked Tron. I don't know. I don't know.
Like I said, I'm not a big movie buff, so I'm like, something else.
There's worse movies that there can be a sequel to, and I'm sure there'll be sequels to eventually.
There are.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of movies have sequels that don't deserve sequels.
Mm-hmm. But so that got shelved, and that's kind of a bummer, but not really a huge bummer. Just another thing that Hollywood's doing that fanboys don't like. But that happened, and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Okay. They're making a remake of that, and I think that's warranted just because a lot of people didn't like that first one.
I guess. I mean, we were talking about it earlier, and I watched it way back in the day when it first came out. When did it come out?
It must have been a while.
Like early mid 2000s.
I'd say there, yeah. I'd say 2000 something, just in that.
I would think so, because it definitely wasn't back in the 90s. I know that for sure.
I don't think so. That it's all kind of blurs together for me.
Yeah,
I think that was later on because they had some better technical effects in there, or special effects.
So I'm trying to remember what type of, because it was kind of like the comic book movie. Was that did they have like a fish guy or something like that?
No, that's You're maybe thinking Hellboy.
Hellboy, that's Hellboy. That's right.
But League of Extraordinary Gentlemen had Sean Connery.
I know, definitely Sean Connery.
Alan Quartermain, he was like a hunter guy. He can shoot a gun really far and stuff like that. And then they had the Invisible Man.
Okay.
And he was invisible, and then he anytime you saw him, he had like white cream or white on his face, so you can actually see his face. They had a vampire chick girl. They had Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, that big hulking guy. They had what was his name? The guy that did 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the pirate submarine person who made all these weird technology stuff. And then they had Tom Sawyer, who was like the young Alan Quartermain type character who shoots guns and was American, so said weird things and stuff like that. But it's based on a graphic novel, and I bought like the collection of that, and I've read because there's like multiple parts of it. I read up to like the third part or something like that, or the second part, and I really liked it, and I didn't mind that first movie. A lot of people didn't like it, so it's getting a remake, and I'm up for it. I'm for it. I'll see it.
See, it's probably another one of those movies where nobody remembers the source material. Cause, Guardians of the Galaxy, you're like, nobody. It's like everybody's like, what the hell is that? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I see a talking raccoon in a tree that says I'm Groot. That sounds awesome.
I think the thing happened like the opposite of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like the source material wasn't that good, and the movie was amazing. Mm-hmm. I think the source material was really good, but it was like there's a lot of stuff that probably wouldn't have gotten away. Like there's a part where the Invisible Man raped a girl.
Oh wow!
Like he's a really bad guy in the first part of the book, but so that happened in the graphic novel. So a lot of things couldn't translate well into movies.
Well, when you're saying that the graphic novels for Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't think they're bad. I just don't think they got popular.
That's what I meant.
There's a huge difference. Yeah.
I think the Extraordinary Gentlemen graphic novels were maybe not popular, but I think well regarded. Like everyone really liked, because it's the guy that did all the really good I think it's the same guy that did like Watchmen.
Okay.
Like he's a really big comic book artist. I can't think of his name.
I don't know.
I'll hate myself whenever I hear it, but or whenever I look it up. So I think it was just like a lot of people felt betrayed, but I had never read that graphic novel before, so I didn't know that it deviated from anything because I didn't know what the source material was.
Yeah,
I think that was the biggest thing. So maybe this next one will be truer to that. I don't know. Definitely, if it is, it's going to be darker.
Yeah,
because there are some dark themes and aliens and all kinds of weird stuff in the source material. So we'll see. That's really all the stuff that I have. I know a couple things you looked up and
sure, yeah. Because Friday there was the fourth generation of Amiibo launch finally.
So Nintendo's figurines the
little figurines that you can put on the Wii
for memory
or 3DS. Yeah, and then
different features
depending on what game it is, it'll open stuff, or it'll do stuff. But yeah, I mean that was a huge mess in and of itself. Like I totally forgot, I didn't even think, oh hey, I could just go out early in the morning, just go try my chance at a Target or something, see if I can find them. But the two that I wanted, I was looking it up online, and they're saying stores will only get maybe like 3 or 4. So I mean, it was.
That's crazy.
I know it sucks. Cause you're like,
come on, Nintendo.
I want to give you money, Nintendo, but if you make it so I have to go to 400 stores and maybe get lucky and buy one. And you're like, geez, that's nuts. Because Amazon, what they ended up doing was throughout the day, they said, all right, at these specific times for, I think, like, I can't remember if it was a half an hour or an hour. They're like, at sometime during this time frame, we're going to randomly put it up for order. And then during, and then, you can only buy one. And then, like, you can't bundle them. So, of course, which sucks is, so that means on each one you have to pay shipping and handling for each one. So you can't buy, like, 2 or 3 and then ship them together. Which sucks. So it's like, screw you, Amazon. It's like, I see what you did there, making us pay more money for these stupid things. Smart on them, though, however, when you think about it.
Yeah,
But I mean, it was just like, they said during this time frame, we'll just randomly pop it up. And, like, some of the rarer ones, so one, for whatever reason, Nintendo decided not to make as many of course, the 2 that I want. Like, I heard something like they were only up for, like, 15 seconds or something like that.
Oh, my gosh.
I was like, that's nuts.
That's crazy. I don't understand, because they're not meant to be, or are they meant to be, like, limited edition? Because we talked about it, like, on one of our segments, like the Stop It segments.
Yeah, that was a while ago,
that they weren't meant to be.
They're
just making a limited number for whatever reason.
For Nintendo reasons, yeah. I mean, I'm confused because nowhere has it really specified that they're supposed to be. I think they just kind of went, well, these are probably not going to be as popular characters. Not because like the 2 I won were from Fire Emblem, which is not.
I've heard of it, but maybe not the bigger.
It's a known series in the States, but it's not a super popular one. Like, of course, like your Pikachu, your Link, Mario and stuff like that. Yeah, those are going to be your more common ones because that's.
And I was with a friend going to, like, the different GameStops, and you would always see those. Like, they'd had a bunch of Mario.
Yeah.
So they assumed that those would be the ones that maybe.
Which in my head, I'm like, at what point would they stop and think? It's like, let's stop producing those, and how about we produce some of the ones that people want? The ones that's been causing so much uproar.
Yeah. Like, they could even, because I assume, were all of them about the same price? Or
yeah, oh no, they were all the same price. There's a few that went down in price because they wanted to get rid of them, so they dropped them down like $2-3 less.
What they can do is, like, they can have, like, maybe the ones that they think that aren't going to be as popular, or they think that aren't going to be as popular, like the ones with Fire Emblem or whatnot, and make those like a different tier, and maybe make them more expensive or something, and then just make a lot, or I don't know. I don't know.
I just want them to make more of them. I mean, that's all. It's like, it's just so, it's either that, or what they should have done is they should have went through Nintendo and then they should have made a system and stuff that try to help. Because, like, unfortunately, what ended up essentially happening was part of the reason that it only lasted for like 15 seconds is probably all the scalpers had friggin' bots that just went and just.
Oh yeah, like a certain script that will
real
just
quick. It just went.
Yeah.
Don't instantly have it, and so that's that plus such a limited supply. That's like, oh great, that's why it lasted 15 seconds.
Yeah, I don't get it. I get it, but then again, I don't get it because decreasing the supply will increase the demand. That's basic economics 101. But for a thing that's not supposed to be limited.
Well, because I mean, if it were supposed to be limited, or at least I don't think it was. Like, I don't know if they thought it. They're like, oh, we'll make some rarer, which I think is stupid for, for this, because it's like, why?
These days it's like there's no shortage of it. Like they don't need to make a limited run because they can just mass produce anything.
Well, because the thing is I think kind of. Like with the figures, I think there's parts of them that are actually handmade. Because they're actually really nice figures. Because my parents ended up finding Splatoon came out on Friday, and there's they made amiibos from that. And I was my mom texted me. I'm like, sure, why not? I wasn't planning on getting one, but I was like, why not? So I have one of them. I haven't pulled it out and messed with it yet because I still gotta get Splatoon before I can actually use it. I mean,
what is that? Is that a game?
It's
or a character from a game?
Because the character's an Inkling Girl or something like that, and they're supposed to be like squid human things. And from what I've seen of the game, is it's kind of like capture the flag, but instead of capturing a flag, I guess capture the base or whatever. But what you do is you have 2 sides, and it's like it's your map, and you're supposed to spread ink over as much of the map as possible, and then. You use the ink to recharge your guns or whatever and to attack the enemies and stuff. And then the idea is to have more of the map covered. and whatever side has most covered with their color ink wins.
Okay, I get it.
I guess. I mean, that's all. That's the only thing I've seen. I haven't played it yet. I mean, they had beta testing for a while. I mean, I looked up a couple of videos. It looked fun. I mean, it looked like a fun game.
So that's a character from that Splatoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
you have.
I was like, yeah. I mean, it's like, sure, why not? I was like, it's because it's not, it was, a special one, but not as rare as the two that I, really wanted. Because I ended up finding Tiger Direct. They're kind of like a computer parts website. They randomly had one of them on there, and I'm like, okay, fine. So I went ahead and ordered one. So far, it hasn't got canceled. So I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna, I was hearing rumors that technically they didn't have any. And they're kind of like, like Tiger Direct's like, we don't even know why it was up. So so who knows? I may get one, I may not. I mean, it may be limited on if they can get them. I don't know. I mean, the order hasn't been canceled yet, so I'm still, cautiously optimistic that
the one that you want, like the fire,
not the because I
one from this.
I wanted Lucina. And then I thought about, I'm like, okay, well, if I can get Robin, which they're both from Fire Emblem, I'm like, I was able to find Robin on Tiger Direct. But it's one of those, I was kind of looking it up to kind of see, it's like, well, is this, I'm like, yeah, it's a legitimate site, but it's like, I was like, just looking at the time, I'm like, that's kind of random that they had it up still. And I was like, are they actually going to be able to supply that many? Or I don't know. I don't know how many people actually knew about it or not. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, they haven't canceled my order yet. So
if you get one, cool. Yeah.
I'm leaning towards probably they'll end up canceling it. But like, I don't know. Sorry. I mean, it's like, if I really wanted one that bad, I would have got up early and went from store to store and did it. But I was like,
Are you getting it more for the functionality or just because you like that character, like a collectible
it was a mixture,
thing on your shelf?
It was a mixture because like I really wanted the Lucina, and it was mostly a mixture of both. It was because I do like the character, and then also like there's like possibly like they're coming out with a new Fire Emblem, and I bet there's probably going to be some
feature
stuff that they'll probably do something with that game. I would assume so.
Yeah,
if it doesn't, I'd be surprised. Because it's like, well, what's the point of having these things if you're not going to actually do them with
that's true.
New coming out games? But I thought it'd just be because I'm like if I'm going to get one just to play around to fit the test, I'm like, yeah, let me get a character that I enjoy.
Yeah,
and then I can play around and it's like, all right, pull out the Wii U and hit it to the controller. Because I definitely wasn't going to sell it. I was like, I'm not going to.
You want it for yourself.
I wanted it to pull it out of the package and sit it on my desk and just have it sit there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I think that's. I would assume that's part of the appeal of it. Like you like that character, like you really like Zelda, so you want a Zelda thing.
Sure.
Or your friend really likes Link, get him a Link thing.
Sure.
So that's a part of the appeal, but they added that it can do something with a certain game or certain games,
which makes it
cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Well, because I mean, like they're tossing around the idea they're possibly what they're going to do is, since they do have those features, they're thinking of releasing some sort of like car, like maybe like an RF card or something like that, and it'll at least have the functionality of it.
Okay.
Because for me, I want the figure. I like figures.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I want like, do I want it just for the functionality? No, I want it because it's a figure. It looks awesome. That's what I want.
And especially if you say they're really good quality.
Yeah, because the one that I got, I mean, I haven't pulled it out of the box yet, but just looking at it, you're like, it's nice. I mean, it's a very nice looking figure.
Yeah. So Nintendo, stop being weird again.
Come on, let's figure out how to release more of these things. Because I mean, they keep making up some weird excuses.
Yeah. I mean, especially because you're seeing like Nintendo, I assume some person on Nintendo is looking at like the eBays and stuff and seeing that people are wanting them and they're forcing them to pay
crazy
prices for
$50 and then like $10-$20 in shipping.
Like Nintendo, that's your money that you're not getting. Like if you would have just made 2 of those instead of just the one, you would have got.
Well, unfortunately, on the other hand, it's kind of hard. I don't know how you'd combat the scalpers.
Well, no,
if you made 2, now the scalpers have 2 instead of 1. Yeah. It's unfortunate. They should have found some way to track. It's like, okay, only 1 goes to the specific address or something like that.
Yeah, I guess it's difficult to stop that. There are always going to be scalpers and people that are selling mainly for profit and stuff like that. That's always going to exist. But I assume if there's more quantity of it, it'd be less of a scalpers go-to product.
It'd definitely be less of an impact. Yeah, if you increased it by 3 or 4 times, yeah, definitely there'd be much less impact.
But then you get in the Nintendo, they're like, we didn't think that one was going to sell that much, so that's why we did a limited or whatever their reasoning is.
Well, my thing is, I think that's kind of crap because I think that's part of the reason why they end up getting so much hype around it, because that they I think initially said we're not going to release that many of these, and like right there immediately now it's like, oh, everybody's going to want it, even the people who don't care
don't want it. They're like, oh, rare, I want it.
You're like me, yeah. It's like, no, I just, that's the only one that I wanted, really. In the grand scheme of things, there's only 1 or 2 that I wanted, and it's like, great. Of course, I had to get the ones that aren't going to have a big release. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, that's so kind of.
So yeah, that's just been a frustrating thing, because reading online, everybody's frustrated. I mean, there's also there's like Reddit's got a whole bunch of forums on it and stuff like that. So I mean,
it's a weird move.
Nintendo is the weirdest company I've ever seen. They're so archaic, and yet somehow they're still staying afloat. Hell if I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's maybe they are the scalpers.
That would be funny. They buy their own thing and then sell it for 4 times as much. That would be funny.
I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm just saying it could be a movie.
You're like, oh my god, that's why that scalper's name was Nintendo backwards. Like, oh my god.
Oni and Tin.
Whatever it would be. Yeah.
I can't. I saw a video off the wall topic, but a person that you could say any word to, and they can just pronounce it backwards.
Oh wow.
Like they just kept feeding her numbers, names, like different words, and she would just say them backwards. I'm like, that's a weird skill to have, but
I know,
kind of cool.
How would your brain think of that? Yeah, I mean, was it like quick or did it take a while?
Right away. Like
really,
there was maybe some that were a little bit more delayed, like it was a complex word.
Sure.
But most of the time it was just like immediate. Like
that's crazy. I mean,
like Jimmy, Yimage, like, and just like ridiculous, like quick. I'm like, that's weird, but cool, I guess.
Well, I mean, when you think, I guess if you study language long enough, you'd figure out patterns, and then
And yeah, if you
know how to spell really well, you can kind of figure it out.
If and your mind, once it's wired one way, like if you learn the words, and like whenever you're learning words, you just randomly will look at them backwards as well. Your mind will be wired to see a word backwards and be able to pronounce it.
Well, I mean, that's part of, I think that's also part of the reason. Like if you ever see like those tests where like what they'll do is like you'll have like a paragraph or whatever, and then they'll have the first and last letter are correct in the word, and then it'll change the ones in the middle.
That's crazy.
And
but
you could still read it just fine, and it's because your brain just when you read, you don't necessarily look at the entire word. You look at there's a lot of stuff that comes into play. You look at the first, the last letter, and now you have to have a couple of correct letters in the middle, but you'll look and you'll just kind of skim it real quick, and then your brain just kind of fills in the blanks. It says, okay, well,
yeah,
this word is this long, so there's only so many words that have that first and last letter, and it's that long, and so your brain just kind of guesses at what it is.
With the context and everything, it just.
So sometimes you have to go back and look. Like, wait, no, that's not. That's what is that word?
Yeah, it's weird. Those you always see those posts every once in a while that come up like.
If you can read this,
if you read this,
you
read this and you can understand the complexities or the greatness of the human brain because this is possible. That's pretty cool. That's interesting. Okay, but I guess we're getting close. But
wrapping up.
A big thing in
got my computer friggin' working.
Yeah, awesome.
I spent Tuesday building it, had it working, and then Wednesday almost scared the shit out of myself because I thought I broke it.
Oh no!
Because I was. Because when I was building it, it took me a while. I guess I just wasn't seeding the processor properly. Because last one I had was an AMD, and then it only goes in when it's seeded properly. So it's one of those that to me that was easier to seed. I mean, it's probably easy, and I'm an idiot. Like it took me a while to I couldn't it was like put the arrow on the processor pointing to the arrow on the socket. I'm like, what arrow? I was looking at it. I'm like, where is it? And then I finally. Like the next day when I went to go, I took it to an Altex to have them take a look at it. They showed me, it's like, oh, it's on the friggin' like the hatch. I'm like, oh wow, okay, that would have been nice to, I don't know, point out, somewhere. It's like, oh, it's on the hatch. I thought it was actually going to be in the socket. And I was sitting there looking. I'm like, I don't see no friggin' triangle. And so,
So you ended up bending pins.
Possibly. I mean, that's what the guys at Altex said. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I probably.
But it's working.
It's working. Yeah, because after they reseeded it for me, because I was obviously frustrated and I was having issues with it, so the guy's like, all right, here, I'll do it for you. It's like, thank you.
And so far it's working.
It's working.
And nothing's.
I haven't seen anything mess up yet. I mean, because what I ended up doing was Wednesday night and the Thursday, I ended up running it overnight, stress testing it, and it went for, because what stress testing does is it pushes your processor to 100%, and then it just sees how long, and basically, because what Prime 95 is what I was using, which is kind of a standard
for doing that stress test. Okay.
I think it just calculates big ass numbers. I think is all it does. Okay. And it just does it over and over and over again, and it does it to like all your cores and yada yada yada. And I ran that thing for a good 9 hours or so. I mean, I did it overnight, and my computer didn't die. I mean, it only stopped because I tried to prevent Windows from updating because it wanted to do because I just reinstalled Windows 7, and so it was doing its updates. But unfortunately, I woke myself up and I looked and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't see the postpone thing. Then of course I went back to sleep and I look, I'm like, damn it! And like 15 minutes later, it reset.
Oh, it reset, so it stopped
like 20
the test.
minutes. I was like, damn it! So I was like, it was fine because I looked at the logs and it said it completed everything, so it didn't say that it crashed or anything. So it just ended. So I'm like, all right. Yeah. I mean, and I've been playing games on it.
And nothing's come up where it can't do something.
No,
good.
I mean, because I think eventually, possibly, if the bent, because I was definitely going to take it to another place just to double check on the bent pins before, because it's one of those because with bent pins, it depends on what pins are bent. If they're not making any sort of connection with the processor, then then whatever they're built to do won't happen. And if those pins are shorting, then you could totally destroy a lot of stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of different options because you can go in there like with tweezers or some sort of a tool or something like that, and you can. But yeah, bent pins. Like from what I was looking at, most because I was trying to figure out if operating with bent pins is it going to destroy something, and unless it's shorted out, no, it'll be fine. Just
whatever function
it's for should just not activate.
Okay.
In theory, that's. Like I said, so far I haven't gotten to anything where my computer just didn't work doing something. I mean,
playing games and playing video and stuff like that, it's working.
So far it's been fine, and like my computer hasn't overheated or anything. So it's surprisingly been very cool. I put water cooler on it on my CPU, so it's been keeping my temperature really low.
Nice.
I'm just surprised with current technology. It's quiet. It's so quiet. I'm not used to it. I'm like, where's the loud fan noises? I'm like, why is there not so many fans? Because I have a couple of parts on it that don't even turn on until they get to a certain temperature anyway. So they just sit there. And I'm just blown away by how hot the thing doesn't get and how quiet it is. Even when it's under load, it's still quiet. And I'm just like, where's the noise?
And it's not just a simple computer. You went.
Oh yeah,
you didn't go all out, but you went pretty close.
I definitely went more towards the enthusiast level. And, invested more money than I probably should have in it, but it's awesome. It's like the stupid thing works. I'm like, all right, it works. I haven't tested editing yet because I unfortunately, like I said, the 2 main days that I had to work on it, it was working. It was trying to get the stupid thing to work. So unfortunately, by the time I finally got it to work, I didn't have enough time to play with it because I was still doing all the updates. I had to install all the drivers, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And then I had that scare of where I may have to possibly buy a new motherboard, which luckily, ironically, is the cheapest part of the computer. Because if it were my graphics card or my processor, then definitely I would have been pissed because those things cost like $500, $300, $400 each.
Yeah.
The graphics card was like $600. I'm like, it's expensive. They didn't want to replace that, but yeah. So soon, because I'm debating on because I have
what you want to use.
Yeah, because I already have the Adobe Premiere Master Collection CS5, whatever. It's like 2 versions ago, or I could just go ahead and do their Creative Cloud subscription because since I am a student at UTSA, I can get the student discount for a year.
Yeah.
So I may try that out for a year and then go from there. So luckily that ends up making it only cost like $300 for the year, which surprisingly, for an entire year of all the software, that's not that much. I looked at it, I'm like, okay, that's actually not bad. Because at the time when I bought the Master Collection, I think I paid like $750 for it. But I mean, because a lot of people were complaining about how Adobe did their subscription service and stuff, because it's like, oh great, now we have to pay for this all the time. But it's like, you look at it though, it's the long run. I mean, as long as they don't sit there and come out with, when they want to come out with the next one, they'll come out with Creative Cloud 2, and you have to switch to that subscription.
Yeah,
that'll be fine. Like if they just keep updating the current one, I think that's fine, because if they keep updating it and make instead of making multiple, instead of doing like CS5, CS6, and all that good stuff, then I think it'll be fine, because then it's like, yeah, you're paying constantly, but you're
getting the newest thing when it's out.
And and when you think of it in the long run, if they do it that way, I mean, I was kind of just running the numbers in my head. When you look at it, it's still I think it still cost less. It just sucks that now you're stuck to a subscription service, and if you want to make use of it, you have to keep paying for it. Which is a pain in the ass.
Well, it will probably weed out. I assume that will weed out a lot of the people that are just like casually using that kind of stuff.
I mean, maybe.
I would think the people that use it a lot, I think that service would be amazing for them.
Well, the guys who are getting pissed off are the people who use it all the time. Are actually the guys who are getting pissed, because like I said, like before you could just buy it, and then no matter what, that's it. It's yours. I mean, you have your account number or whatever, and you can install it on 2 computers, or depending on whatever license you had. So I mean, like I could, like even I bought the CS5 collection. God, 4 or 5 years ago, I could still use it now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still
yours.
I can still use it, but if I do Creative Cloud and I let after the year I let it lapse, it's like I think I can still kind of make use of those files, but then I'm I have to transcode them to something else.
The program. Okay, I understand that. I get that. Yeah.
So it is kind of you know.
So right now you're just deciding what you want to do. Well, I mean, you have CS5, so I mean, you could.
Like I said, so what I may do is, like I said, go do the year subscription, see how much I like it, and then see if afterwards, because with the student discount, I think I paid $20 a month or something like that for a year. And then if I want to keep it afterwards, I'd have to pay $50 a month, which is significantly more expensive.
Yeah.
Like I could afford it, but it's one of those depends on how much we do.
Yeah.
Because if I end up not really making use of it, then it's like, okay, well, I have my old software that I can just install on there, and then I'd just be just fine.
Yeah.
Because I would lose a little bit of functionality, but if I'm not even using the new fancy stuff, what's the point of having the new fancy stuff when I already have it? So that's why I think that's kind of my running plan. Is I think I'll go ahead and do it, but but we'll see. I mean.
So cool. Yeah, so be on the lookout for, I mean, we'll talk about it on the podcast if we ever do anything. And right now we're still a ways away, but
yeah, because I mean,
it's closer now. We're one step closer to that stuff, but it's still.
Because I've got A-Kon next week, so I'm not going to be on the podcast next week. That's up in Dallas.
A-Kon is that
big anime convention.
Con?
Yeah, it's the big Texas anime convention.
Okay.
It's kind of I've been going to that for the last 6 years. I think I think I may have missed 1 year in the last 6 years.
So that's cool. But, so pictures.
Yeah, I always try to get pictures. Yeah. Possibly if I feel like it. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Or
because unfortunately the packs I never put up the pack blackout pictures.
That's fine. Don't get blackout drunk where you don't remember it. At least bring back stories or a description of the event. And stuff
no
like
way.
That.
That's a. Well, I don't get that drunk, but the tradition is always.
I don't remember any of it.
No, because kind of the tradition that I've been, it was one of my friends from U of H. What he got me into do is what the idea was is there's a panel called Iron Artist, and they had a 18+ version of it, and what it was just like webcomic guys and stuff. Like they just pick like 3 random, like they'd have like people from the crowd would just say like random topics and stuff. So always you'd have just like you'd always get like this since it was the 18+ one, you'd always get like dildos or something stupid like that. Yeah. And their goal was to draw it's just something like nasty and stuff like that was it. And so you always got some really weird ass pictures and stuff like that. But the idea was always go, get a little drunk before it and then go.
I assume with that kind of stuff that'll improve the experience of that kind of. That's funny.
Sure.
That's cool. Well, no. I mean, don't change. Just do what it's for fun. Just do what you want.
Because there's some fun stories with that. Because that was when we found out that Kraken rum not that good. Because unfortunately, you and my friend.
Crack?
There's Kraken.
Kraken.
Like, released
okay.
the Kraken. And
I thought you meant like.
Some other.
I thought you meant like the hard drug. Crack and rum don't mix.
No, not crack and rum. Crack.
I could have told you that those don't mix.
Yeah, that'd probably not be a good combination either. We, me and my friend, we were out at the convention. We came back and everybody already went through all the rum. We're like, oh, you didn't save any for us, you jerks, and they were piss ass drunk. And
that's
like the
cool.
curtain is awesome. We're like, oh Jesus, is he gonna die? We're like, oh, he's all right.
Nice.
He's
that's
really
funny.
drunk.
Okay. Yeah. So cool. So look forward to more stories like that whenever.
Let's hope. I mean, it depends.
A couple weeks.
Because I'm going with a different group, so I don't think we'll do anything that crazy.
Okay.
But because we like the group I'm going with this year, we all kind of do our own slightly separate things. It's not because we all have kind of slightly different interests and stuff like that. Because this is the group that they're more into sometimes playing board games and stuff. So. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they're the ones that,
So there'll be some crazy board game stories.
I mean, no, we had fun with it last year. I mean, that was the first
board
time.
Board games are awesome.
That was the first time I had sat down and played, that type of game, and I had a blast with it.
It's awesome.
It's just, unfortunately, it takes so much freaking time. It's like, I have other stuff I want to do, I'm like, I can't, spending 3-4 hours in one spot in the convention, I'm like, there's so much other stuff to go look at.
Yeah, I agree. It's fun. Yeah, I understand that completely. Okay. Well, cool. We'll look forward to those. Anything else that you can think of off the top of your head? Me neither. So that's episode 66 of Thinking Outside the Pod. Like we said, there's going to be some new stuff happening. We're going to try to do something different soon, like after this podcast.
What we don't know.
We'll see how it works. But to be up to date with everything, or to I guess stay up to date. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all that good stuff. We're available on iTunes and Stitcher. Tell your friends. But new episodes every Monday. This has been Thinking Outside the Pod.
All right, later, guys.
Bye.
All right.